It's another week, and it is another reality recap of Ready to Love season number 6. This episode is called Truth or Dare. Let's get into it. Hi there, Simply Stubbies. Welcome back to the Simply Stacey YouTube channel. It's your girl, Stacey, and I'm actually filming this on a Monday. So I watched Ready to Love, the latest episode called Truth or Dare, episode number 5 on Friday, and we're doing the review. So let's get to it. It starts off with a cliffhanger, which was the elimination. They were all out at the gathering slash barbecue slash pool party. And basically Tommy said, this is who it is. There's no new blind dates. There's no one new coming. Fellas, find somebody to eliminate. So it was up with Demetrius saying, AP and Precious, please step forward. And today we're going to find out who went home. He tells them that, AP, the guys don't know if you're kind of ready to love because you seem to kind of still be caught up on your husband who passed away. And Precious, it seems like you just want to party all the time. And a lot of the men here feel like they're past that party boy stage. And so that's a little bit concerning. But basically, ultimately, in the end, AP, you are not ready to love. And guess what, guys? AP went home. I could have seen that coming from a mile away because not only did AP not make any connections, but she was kind of boring. Precious has actually had a lot of personality, and although she's kind of been flighty and from man to man with all her sexual energy, she's entertainment. So Precious is here to stay. Okay, so Tommy basically tells everybody there that they have to be more purposeful and not just about the butterflies this week. It is up to the ladies, and a guy will be going home, but continue on. Carry on with the rest of the evening. They are still at this pool party. AP leaves and goes about her merry way, and everybody else is getting ready to eat because y'all know Eric was in the kitchen cooking, and he is a celebrity chef, so he was out there, throwing down. So they all get to the table, get ready to eat, and then Laverna recommends a game of Truth or Dare. So I'm like, okay, so last week some of the women weren't really feeling Laverna. They would say he was withdrawn. Demetrius even had a conversation with Laverna. But all of a sudden, Laverna is back to play, and he wants to play Truth or Dare. So they obliged. I guess somebody could have been like, no, I'm not about that life, But they decided to. And I believe the first question went to Joy. And they asked her to please kiss the guy. Because she picked Dare that she's most attracted to. So she runs around the table and she kisses Clifton on his mouth. I don't know if it's their first kiss or not, but they both seem to be enjoying it. Now, prior to that, Carmen and Clifton, they got this little thing going on. It shocked me last week, but it is what it is. And Clifton comes over to her and says, hey, would you like me to make your play? What would you like on it? So he makes Carmen a play, brings it to her. So needless to say, when this game of Truth or Dare is going on, she feeling a kind of way because Clifton just made her a play and now Joy is kissing him. And I'm like, girl, what does that have to do with Clifton? He didn't go kiss her, even though I'm sure he would have. But Joy did that. So he still asks you about your plate, and they don't understand. I don't think that this is a process, and this is not just about day one person and move along. It is about seeing where your connections are. Eric does tell the group as a whole that he's excited that he got to show them what he is passionate about. He loves to cook, and he's glad he's sharing it with his new acquaintances, maybe friends, and his future wife. And everybody at the table was like, oh, okay, go ahead and claim it, put that in the atmosphere. Dakia over there smiling from ear to ear. Carmen probably is too because she think it's her. Dakia does say that, she did tell Eric that her favorite meal was, what was it, shrimp pasta? He did cook that, but she's not going to say it was because he know that's her favorite meal. But she is going to say he did know that was her favorite meal. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe. Carmen is asked the question, truth or dare. She picks truth. And they asked her, I think it was Ikea maybe. Is she genuinely interested in any of the guys here? Or is she only interested because this is what we are given? This is the selection that we have. And she says that she is genuinely interested in someone here or someone's here. So she does add the plural at the end. We know for sure it's already Eric and probably Clifton. Sabrina is dared to nibble on the ear of the guy she is feeling most. So it was so funny because everybody is like, okay, Tory, going over there to where she at. And she hesitates and was like, no, y'all got to think about it. So everybody like, oh, so you like somebody other than Tory? Because I guess apparently everybody thought that Tory was her only connection. And she actually ends up settling on Demetrius. Okay, so she nibbles Demetrius's ear and Tory is looking dumbfounded, shocked. And even some people in the confessional said, I was kind of shocked that she didn't pick Tory. And yeah, so Tory apparently thought him and Sabrina had this thing locked down and there was nobody else on the picture. So following that, Demetrius is there to kiss the person of his choosing that he has the strongest connection with. And of course, he kisses Sabrina on the lips. And Tory is still just sitting here looking shocked, dumbfounded. Like, sir, people are making connections. And if you're only making a connection with her, then you're doing something wrong. But we all know that that's not true because last week, Tory, you was spitting poetry with Ace. You was giving Sabrina cupcakes and you was singing to somebody else. I don't even know who you was singing to. But here's the thing, Tory. You got connections, so why can't she? You're just feeling away because you're not her strongest connection and she probably is yours. So yeah, guys, they was like, this is a messy game of truth or dare, and Laverna started it. But I'm like, y'all agreed to it, so don't be putting this just on Laverna. Okay, at the end of the day, they all toast to love. Tory has a little moment where he's like, I should just pack my stuff and leave because, I think it was edited. I don't think that actually happened during the game, but I do think he did mention something like that. Okay, so now we're on date number 1. Date number 1 is a group date. It has Joy and Precious. It has Demetrius and Clifton. It has Wiley. And then this adults-only obstacle course. So Precious and Joy are the only females there. She's saying basically she is here for her husband. I don't know why any of these guys feel like I'm just here to party. I am a professional woman. And it is preposterous that they would think that I would put anything above, finding my husband or being there for him when he needs me. Of course, Clifton and Joy make time to flirt. Precious gets across. It's not really giving vibes to, be able to have all these, one-on-one conversations in private moments because it's like a whole obstacle course. Demetrius is doing pretty well. Joy and Wiley talk a little bit, but basically Wiley is just saying, if he's learned anything through this process, is that he should just kind of go for things that he wants. And Joy's like, yeah, exactly. He's like, yeah, I kind of take my time, but I know what I want. Basically trying to let her know he's interested, but not really doing anything about it. And Joy was like, it's always what Wiley is like. She always feels like he wants to say something, but then he never does. So she's like, yeah, brother, get the follow through because, I just don't know what's going on. Precious has a conversation with Demetrius because he's the one who delivered the message. And basically she's telling him, I do want to find my husband. I'm a professional woman. I'm not all about the party. And so Demetrius is saying he hears her, but he doesn't know if this is damage control and she's honest about what she's saying. Or is it just I want to change y'all's mind. And I was put on the carpet last week to go home. So I'm just going to tell you what you want to hear. So he's not too sure. Okay, next up, there's a Tory and Sabrina meetup. So, Sabrina has to set this thing up because Tory felt away at the party where she was picking Demetrius and Demetrius was picking her and he was all left out in the cold. And basically, Tory came with a lot of different energy and Sabrina was like, I just want to see how you're doing, how you feeling. And she was like, I'm glad we got a chance to have some quality time because we haven't had any. And basically, he's still in his feelings. And he basically tells her, like, you know, I'm not finna be played for a fool. She's trying to tell him, like, listen, no matter what me and Demetrius has, it doesn't take away from what you and I have. I just want to be honest in that moment, and I was feeling him just a tad bit more, but I am really confused. He's like, Sabrina is confused. Either you rocking with me or you not. She was like, well, what are you actually saying? Like, I applaud her for asking the question because, sir, if you want this to be done, it can be done. But she went on to ask the question, and he was like, well, no, like, I understand that this is a process. I just want us to be able to communicate more, and so that I know. I was caught off guard by that. Like, you never told me. She was like, well, it didn't come up. Like, why would I be talking about some other guy or my connections with somebody else with you? But she went on and was like, you know what? I could do that. I could be more open in communication when it comes to someone else. And right now, you know, I am feeling both you guys, but I don't want that to stop you and me from getting to know each other. Is that what you're asking? And so he was like, no, I'm going to rock with it or whatever. But he did realize in his mind that he needs to move a little differently and not just be focused on her. He was like, maybe I was looking out of rose-colored glasses thinking that we were just here for each other and I didn't have to deal with nobody else. And she wasn't, because that's definitely not the case. She doesn't want that. She wants to continue the process, and she wants Tory to be a part of her process. Okay, so next up, there's a date with Carmen and Paul. Remember, Paul is the 48-year-old, and Carmen, she's the one who likes Eric and Clifton. She was one of the newbies. She came on a blind date maybe 2 episodes ago. Okay, she's being super flirty with Paul. He wants to feed her his pickle. He wants to get deeper with her. They have conversations. It seems like they're vibing for real. And he does feed her the pickle. She's giving him these eyes, or staring, or being super flirtatious. She is living in her femininity, because I know people be talking about that all the time, but I see it here with Carmen. And he said the way she looks at him makes him want to give her your credit cards, take her shopping, whatever. And so she definitely got Paul, you know, out of her fingers or out of her hands or whatever you may say. But it seems like they have a good chemistry. So I'm like, okay, Paul, I can see it. Paul got him a couple connections. It was Precious at first. Then it was the new girl, Tina. Now it's Carmen. Okay, so the next date is actually Tina and Donovan. They both were blind dates last week. So they are new. They're coming to talk to each other. And they have a lot in common. He asked about how her daughter is doing. He has a daughter of his own. You could tell that they really have a lot in common. They like each other's looks. He does feed her something. It was a little romantic. He didn't ask, though. I don't think, like, when Paul said he would feed her his pickle, or he would let her have some of his pickle, she was like, are you going to feed me? Like, she asked that question. But I think, you know, Donovan just went on and fed her something. But it was real cute and sweet or whatever. They asked what they wanted in a partner. And she said she wanted somebody that's compassionate. He says he wanted somebody that, you know, had the same goals and vision. Not maybe the same, but was driven and had visions and all that stuff. He does vision boards. And she was like, oh, so hypothetically speaking, if we're still dating on New Year's Eve, can we both do a vision board together? He was like, yeah, we could do that. And she was like, yeah, you know, something we both have in common. So they definitely had a lot in common. Next date is another group date. So Tina sets this up. She gets another chance to interact with some of the fellas. There's Ace, Paul, Tory, Laverna, and Ikea. So this is a whole different group of people. Paul and Tina go off to the side. You know, she likes him. She dates older men. He's like, oh, younger women are trouble. But they have this vibe and chemistry, and it's still there. Okay, Ace and Laverna are talking. Remember, Laverna's Ace's number 1. And I think vice versa. She's the only one really feeling Laverna at this point. He lets her know, you do it for me. He says, you know, at this stage of the game, I need to start solidifying my connections. People are going home. And so let me let Ace know. Let me lay it on a little bit thick. Ace, you do it for me. So I'm like, Laverna, are you calculated? That's what some of the women said, is that he was calculated. Even though I do feel like he likes Ace, he was rubbing it on real thick to make sure he had him a number 1. Okay, Ikea and Tory, they are left alone. They're discussing, you know, what happened at the pool party and how he felt with the Sabrina situation. he kind of let her know that they've talked about it, but he does understand that he needs to start exploring his connections with other women as well. And he was like, you know, sometimes it just made me feel like I had to fall back a little. But I'm like, Tory, don't fall back too far, honey, because Demetrius is going to swoop in and you're going to be left out there in the cold. So you might want to apply pressure instead of falling back. But hey, let him do what he does. Ace and Tory, they're dancing, and Ace is like, oh, I just had a really good time. We both like to dance. So they vibe a little bit. And then Tina pulls Laverna. She was like, he is a very attractive man, which everybody has said. I said he was probably the most attractive man on the show. Pre-Donovan, because I think Donovan is probably more handsome than Laverna. Or, I mean, you know, it's different. I don't like the nose ring on Donovan, so that would probably, you know, knock him down a notch or so. But anyway, and she just was like, she wanted to see what it was about, but it was just very, very surface level. He wasn't really trying to connect with her. It's like Laverna's picked Ace, and that's like kind of it. He also likes Joy, it seems, but he knows that Joy and Clifton are each other's number ones, especially after that game of Truth or Dare. So yeah, Tina's not really feeling it. She's like, he's attractive, but he's not really her type. So next up is the ladies' lounge. Like, let's just get to the bottom of it. Tommy is there. He's like, okay, who are y'all feeling? Tina says Paul and Donovan. Carmen says Eric and Paul. Dakia says Eric and Paul. I was like, my, how the times have changed, because Paul was on the bottom and now Paul is, right now, he's at 3 people's top. Ace said Laverna and Troy. Precious says Paul and Donovan. So Paul up there 4 times. And then Sabrina says Demetrius and Tory, of course. Who are they not feeling? Ace is not feeling Clifton. Carmen also is not feeling Clifton after Joy kissed him. Not after he kissed Joy, but after Joy kissed him, because he had asked her to do his plate at first and now. So I was like, girl, you're a flip-flopper at this point, because Clifton just got kissed. He didn't go make the move. Tina is not feeling Wiley in Laverna. She said he was withdrawn at the pool party. Precious is not feeling Wiley. Dakia is not feeling Wiley. She says he's mature, but it's a no for her. It's not really his age. Joy says no for Wiley. So it's time for the eliminations. And Dakia takes Wiley out. And Precious takes Laverna out. So we already know. It's an elimination talk, whether the guys know it or not. Precious just cuts right to the like, let's not do this. We're not gonna have a little chit chat. Basically, we had a deliberation, and this is what the women feel. They feel like they don't know if they're getting your true self, or what is it. Sometimes you're withdrawn. Sometimes, you know, they just really don't know. He says he's always who he is. He's seen people get manipulated, and, you know, it is what it is. People are judgmental during this process. Whoop, 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 whoop. That kid's talking to Wiley. She was like, you know, I just got to be honest. Like, Wiley, are you making your intentions known? Are you trying to get to know people? He's like, yes. So he's oblivious. She's like, I know you give us that little Wiley eye. You good with the flirting, but you don't have, like, no follow through. Like, there's nothing else. Are you making your intentions out there? He's like, yes. Basically, when it boils all down to it, Wiley, you are going home, sir. Nobody's really vibing with you. You were nobody's type. At least Laverna was at Ace's type, so he gets to stay. And he'll continue on. Y'all, that is it. Let me know what y'all are thinking about this season. I still don't see no for real, other than Clifton and Joy. Now, that is my number 1 couple. That is my, like, meat and potatoes. I know Dakia and Eric like each other, but it seems like Carmen and Eric got this past situation, so that just might trump that connection. Either way, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. If you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get 300 followers. I am 3 down. I think I'm at 297 right now. I want 1,000, guys. I really want 1,000. It's free to subscribe. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Share my videos. Until next time. See ya.